Yeah, captains and lieutenants, they try and hide.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't hide. We get out here and help.
Well, I mean, you don't have the stripes. Like,
oh, yeah.
It makes it look like you're just another officer.
Yeah. It's on the badge, too, though.
How so? Show me.
See right there, right there at the top.
Oh, it says captain. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the bars like, my vest hides mine, though, so.
Is that intentional? Or?
Well, why are you out here then, Captain? I mean, man.
I can't stay confined to an office.
There was actually a crime, and that's exciting, so you got out here?
Well, anytime. They're short-staffed today, so we all jump in and help out.
Just today?
Well, no, all the time.
It's hard to get officers, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're leaving faster than you're getting them.
Yeah, nobody wants to be police anymore, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
I have a few ideas why that is, but we'll get to that in a minute. Good evening, everybody. We are live. Live. Thank you all for coming in. Yeah, we got people in the house. And if you didn't know, that is from the Press Harder channel. If you didn't see the embedded information in there. Blah. Really blah. Anyway, family court, you mean family theft, don't you? Well, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. I have video of a grubby attorney, and I have video, well, I should say audio of a grubby judge who told me I was going to get a chance to speak. She stopped me and interrupted me when the bullshit family attorney, the grubby, greedy cunt of a, I shouldn't swear this early on. YouTube doesn't like it when you swear this early in the broadcast. This stream's not monetized anyways. Let me bring that up first. Anyways, I have audio of this bitch judge, right? Who, when this grubby family attorney is speaking, and then she's listing off all the things that are inaccurate, and I said, well, that's not true. So I got it on the record that that's not true. Then the judge says, well, you're going to have an opportunity to speak. And then as soon as they read that motion, that default judgment, boom, they cut off the Zoom hearing. So I have audio of that. I do have audio of that. Good luck, fuckers, trying to prove who recorded it, though. Because remember when you said if it gets published, you're going to possibly hold me in contempt? Well, guess what? I wasn't under oath when you fucking said that, you idiots. So guess what? Fuck you. I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. But anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. If you didn't notice by that cold open, that was a video from the Press Harder channel of cops having a hard time with recruiting. Apparently, cops are having a tough time with recruiting, right? So we'll play more of that video, and then we'll get into this article that you see right here. If you see the article in front of your face, that says Sheriff's Department's struggling to stay fully staffed. That's an article that I just read today, November 2nd, 2022. So, well, that was from yesterday, I guess, but I just saw it today. And so that reminded me of a video that I watched. And of course, it was a very interesting video. So let's get back to that video. I'll play part 1 for you, and then we'll play part 2 as well. We do practice law of attraction here, by the way. We do practice law of attraction. And this is what the law of attraction tells you. If it's meant to be, it will be. You won't have to force it, convince, or worry over it. Let it flow, let it be, and let it come to you. You're attracting everything you need. Trust the timing of your life. That's the law that we practice here. If you're watching this on a restream, thank you very much. If this is the first time on on this channel, stick it out. We talk about, cop watching. We pretty much focus on all things cop watching. And what do I mean? Let's pull this up again so you can see the headline yourself. And then we're going to play the second part of the video for the cold open. Ready? Well, we'll play the first part again, and then we'll play the second part right after.
Yeah. Captains and lieutenants, they try and hide.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't hide. We get out here and help.
Well, I mean, you don't have the stripes. Like, it makes it look like you're just another officer.
Yeah. It's on the badge, too, though.
How so? Show me.
See right there, right there at the top.
Oh, it says
yeah,
captain.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
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 We got the bars like, my vest hides mine though, so.
Is that intentional? Or?
Well, why are
It's
you
just
out
the
here
way.
then, Captain? I mean, man.
I can't stay confined to an office.
There was actually a crime, and that's exciting, so you got out here?
Well, anytime. They're short-staffed today, so we all jump in and help out.
Just today?
Well, no, all the time.
It's hard to get officers, right?
Oh yeah.
They're leaving faster than you're getting them.
Yeah, nobody wants to be police anymore, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
Why do you think that is? Hold on, and then we'll play this part. A very telling part about that video is at first it's like, oh, you got excited there was a real crime. So, because the cop in that video, right? He's like, oh, I had to get out here, can't stay confined to a desk or whatever. And then it's revealed that they're short staffed for the day. That's the reason he's out there, right? Or maybe there's multiple reasons, but I found that kind of funny. Here's part 2.
They're leaving faster than you're getting them.
Yeah, nobody wants to be police anymore, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
I can't really say.
I mean, are we making a difference?
Right on.
It's nobody wants to be police anymore. I have to leave it at that. But it's, it seems everything's against us now, and the world sees it.
Well, the rapists and killers still want to be police.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Is it still?
Oh, of course. The rapists and murderers still want to be police. Oh, of course.
The rapists and killers still want to be police.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Is it self-inflicted from?
Oh, geez. Stuff like that cracks me up. Hey, guys, let me read through some chat real fast, and then we'll get to playing the other part of that video. But Lone Wolf, thank you for coming in. Yeah, family court, you mean family theft. Of course, the fastest way to destroy any family is introduce the family court. Well, yeah, I can attest to that one from a personal story, and I'm sure I am not the only one. I unblocked you for now. Correct. I unblocked you for now. Gio, thank you for coming in. Appreciate that. And let's see, Mike Webb, thank you for being in here. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable. Well, it's interesting that you say that, Mike Webb. It's interesting that you say that because I have a recorded conversation with this lady. Let me pull this up real quick. I have a phone conversation with Jordan Geiger from Friend of the Court. And Jordan Geiger is emphatic. She is just committed to confidentiality. She just wants to respect the confidentiality of everybody involved. Well, mostly the children. Mostly the children, right, Jordan Geiger? Or maybe it's because of the comment that we just read, right? Maybe it's more to the fact of the comment that we just read. And let me pull you up an example of what I'm talking about, because guess what? Here's a family court that's on YouTube that I saw earlier today.
That skiing murder thing, my goodness, that's, if y'all ain't looking at it, you ought to. You ought to go over and check it out. It's pretty good.
Now, the only reason I pulled up that clip is, Ms. Geiger, are you trying to make the case that that family court right there doesn't give a shit about kids' privacy? Because if what you're saying is true, that we have to respect the children and respect their privacy, then what are you saying about that family court that's on YouTube? Are you trying to make the accusation that that family court is not respecting the privacy of the kids? Because that's a family court that's on YouTube. You would think if you're interested in the truth, and a court of law is supposed to be the place for truth, you would think you would want a recording. You would think you would be completely in favor of a recording and of somebody publishing that. If you're interested in the truth, you would think you would want that, right? Anyways, let me finish reading through some comments, then we'll get to some of the more interesting videos. Rochelle is in the house, my YouTube wife. Thank you for being in here, Rochelle. Appreciate that. Press harder. People is saying Java Chip, recognizing Rochelle. Let's see. Real Jingy is in the house. Yeah. Appreciate you being in here, Real Jingy. And let's see. I'm Old Dawn. Well, Dawn, you have to behave in here. You have to behave in here because you're not the alpha chick in here, okay? This is the alpha chick in here, okay? So you got to be nice to Rochelle. Do you understand? You have to be nice to Rochelle, all right? Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the topic of the show, which is about this. Okay? Sheriff's departments struggling to stay fully staffed. Okay, let's get back to the clip from the Press Harder channel from people. And this was just brilliant. This was just brilliant. Well, I'll let the video speak for itself.
They're leaving faster than you're getting them.
Yeah, nobody wants to be police anymore, unfortunately.
Why do you think that is?
I can't really say.
I mean, are we making a difference?
Right on.
You know, it's nobody wants to be police anymore. I have to leave it at that. But it's, you know, it seems everything's against us now, and the world sees it.
Well, the rapists and killers still want to be police.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Is it
The rapists and the killers still want to be police. Oh, of course. But anyway, that video was from back in the summer. And here it is. We're getting into late fall, getting close to winter. And then this is the headline from today, or from yesterday, I should say. Sheriff's Department struggling to stay fully staffed. So it appears like this has just been an ongoing problem if these reports are accurate. So let's play the last clip from the Press Harder channel. And again, this is brilliant. So let's just watch it.
Well, the rapists and killers still want to be police.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Is it self-inflicted from the department, though? You know?
Not really. No. It's nationwide.
Wait, you don't think so? That
the universal department,
years and years,
thing, or is it
decades and decades of bullying and intimidating and lying to the public has built up, and now when peeps are stopping and filming, that's called a clue, right? That the people have lost trust, because if they trusted you, they wouldn't be filming. We would have just kept on our way. There's no way we would have stopped and been like, oh yeah, those police officers over there, man, we need to go watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys were great, but I didn't think you were going to be. Right? Because, you know, I've completely lost trust, right?
You probably hadn't seen
But you guys surprised me, and we're actually solving a crime with a human victim, right? Which, you know, doesn't happen very often. Most beat officers never solve crimes. They're just pulling peeps over and maybe warrants. They did a crime before, but they're not solving it, right? They're just picking them back up on a warrant maybe. Or, you know, drugs. The state of North Carolina is crying, you know.
That revenue.
Yeah, the revenue, right? And it builds on you. You're a captain, you know. Those kind of things don't. That's not what you wanted to be a police officer for, right?
I've do a complete 180 since I started in the mid '90s till now. It's
since
just
you started.
The public perception, the public trust, everything.
The public perception and public trust.
Things that we used to could do back in the day we can't do now.
I've
do a complete 180 since I started in the mid '90s till now. It's
since
just
you started.
The public perception, the public trust, everything.
The public perception and public trust.
Things that we used to could do back in the day we can't do now.
So there you go. That's a high-ranking police officer that's saying that. That's a high-ranking police officer saying we couldn't get the things we used to be able to get away with. We can't get away with anymore. So when you can't be trusted, if you're being recorded, that's a clue that you can't be trusted. Here's another example of that. We're live watching you. You can't be trusted. You can't be trusted. So guess what? This is what happens. When you can't be trusted, you get recorded against your will and against your wishes. So everybody, do you see a common theme here? Do you see a common theme that, you know, government, cops, they're all in it to steal from you and to murder, rape, kill, right? Here's another example. Dawn, don't watch this one, Dawn. If you're still in here, Dawn, do not watch this one.
Taxation is theft.
there you go. So, I mean, F you, right? 7 likes. Let's get to 10. Yeah, I'm not really pushing the likes tonight, but I appreciate that. The content here is, just way more important than the likes for this video, but I appreciate that. And then I'm going to open this up to a panel because, after all, having the opportunity to speak to the person that created that content, that's just a tremendous honor. Anyway, ATL Transparency News, appreciate you being in here. Let's see, a high school diploma as a cop, you can earn 80 grand a year. Well, is it really worth the money nowadays? Is it really worth the money? Because, I mean, just a short time ago, man, you got a badge, you were a glorified welfare. You weren't a glorified welfare recipient. You were like a hero, right? You're a hero. You got that badge. You have power. You have authority. So you got privileges. You got rights. You got everything that you want in this world. You're a sovereign citizen because the laws don't apply to you. Life was good at one point to be a cop. And nowadays, you just get treated like shit. And why do you get treated like shit? It's not because of anything that, people have done. It's not anything that the folks that you're interacting have done. It's because of what you've done. It is because of what you've done. Okay? So nobody's going to be gaslit anymore. There's going to be no more gaslighting. This is what you've become, right? You're fodder. You are comical at this point. That's all you are. Get out of the job now. Just give it up. There's no more respect. There's absolutely no more respect for you. Okay? And then, I've got videos of a family attorney that deserves zero respect either. Do you guys want to, well, speaking of people that deserve no respect, look at this. A guy that's an auditor, okay? Not that I really care about the label auditor anyways. I'd rather be a cop watcher than an auditor, but hey, if somebody wants to attach me to a group, I guess, auditor, whatever you want to call me, whatever. But this guy right here, Ironton Auditor, he's turned into like a C grade freaking channel that features music. Okay. Not talking about anything relevant to activism or anything like that. It's just, hey, let me use my platform to play C-grade music. That guy's worthless. Anyway, here's another thing I saw today that might be interesting. I blurred out all the information on where this came from because I'm not going to promote these guys anymore, or should I say more accurately, it's probably far more accurate to say I'm going to do my best to avoid promoting certain channels, okay? That's why I blurred out the images, because it doesn't matter where it came from. It comes from just a group of colonialists that love seeing when violent things happen to other people. And the ironic thing about this is that when you watch violent things happen to others and you cheer it on, basically all you're doing is you're driving the divide even further, and what you're doing is hurting the cause. You're causing more of these cops that were once thought of as heroes to just leave the job, quit, or not consider the job in the first place, because they don't want to be known as, the guy terrorizing the community. The only people that do are people that, basically are the ones being exposed for what it is. So anyway, back to the headline. Here's the headline. Let's talk about this in a little bit more detail. Or I'll tell you what, let me put a link in the chat. And if anybody wants to come up, feel free to come on up so we can talk about this together, because these are just screenshots. And so we can pull up the entire article and kind of go through the article and see what we're working with. And at some point, I'm also going to do this. We'll get to decide which video we want to see next. Oh, that reminds me, before we get anybody up on panel and before we get into talking about the Sheriff's Department struggling to stay fully staffed, let me just show you briefly what happened yesterday on the show. And if you missed out on yesterday's show, This is kind of a short Cliff Notes version of what happened on yesterday's show. I actually think it was a sincere moment. We got people in the house. Let's
There
add
it is,
people to the
folks.
stream.
There it is, the moment that we've all been waiting for.
And what moment was that, might we ask? What moment was that, might we ask? Let's just pull this up. This is going to give us about 3 minutes before we come back and start talking about how sheriff's departments are struggling to stay fully staffed. Here's the banner, and then let's check the audio. Let's check the clip. Let's run it. Here we go.
Or to rather view it a different way, to enforce the good ideas.
That's such a complex and sophisticated bit of history to really sum it up like the way you're framing it.
But Germany probably wouldn't be as democratic as it is today without the enforcement of democratic ideals.
What if they had won World War II?
If Germany had won World War II?
Yeah.
Then I don't think you or I would be alive to complain about it.
Okay, so now let's use that to kind of springboard a little bit. Now, in this country that you see today with your observations, okay, do you see us moving closer to, do you see our government moving more totalitarian, or do you see it becoming less totalitarian? Just in your opinion. I'm not going to hold you to this. I mean, it's not like...
Well...
Which direction do you think we're headed in?
I'm generally a little reluctant to get political about it, but I think the
we just came to the
authoritarian.
Okay, well, yeah, and let me just point to the facts. Let's just point to the evidence on the table. Just 2 years ago, we had, enforcement of masks. We had enforcement of quarantines in a lot of parts of the globe, right? In Australia, I think they were forced into quarantine, right? We have people trying to strip away gun rights. We have people, okay, so where I'm going with all this is like, how many little tiny steps to tyranny do we take before we stand and we say, nope, this is where we draw the line. We're taking our freedoms back.
That would depend on who you ask.
Right. And at this point where I'm at is like, if you're not willing to stand up now, when will you be willing to stand up? In history, would you have been, Mr. Carroll, where do you think you would have been in history? Would you have been the people hiding Anne Frank in the attic, or would you have been the people that murdered her?
I had a history professor. I'll answer that question, but I just want to preface that by saying I had a history professor who, when confronted with all of the students saying, I can't believe the Nazis did that, I never would have agreed with it, said that statistically speaking, the majority of us probably would have been complicit in what the Nazis were doing as a way to endear support or endear empathy for the Germans who were subjected to the Nazi regime. And so it's entirely possible that I could have been complicit. I'd like to hope that I wouldn't have been, but realistically speaking, I think it's entirely possible that I would have been.
Okay, so at least that's I think that's a sincere answer. And
I hope to not be so naive that I would say outright, I totally would have stood up to them, because I do think that's naive.
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. Listen. So there you go. That's what you missed out on yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's stream, I thought it was a really good stream. So let's get back to the task at hand, which is discussing staffing levels with police departments. We'll get into this article. And like I said here, we can decide which video we want to see next, because I have videos of Juan Galt. I have videos of a family judge, and then I have a grubby family attorney that is so greedy, she's like a slimy little snake, that family attorney. Here, I'll give you a sneak preview of the video with the grubby family attorney. This is what she looks like, okay? This is what that grubby attorney looks like. All she cares about is money. That's all she cares about is money, 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 right? Here's what she looks like.
My phone name is Joshua Lanto, and my phone number is...
Ooh, shoot. Here we go. The world is watching you, you grubby attorneys. The world is watching you. I hope you know that the world is watching you. Yep. We can see you. We can see right through all that bullshit and all that shit that you talk. And you know what? A live streaming camera levels the playing field. A recording levels the playing field because we can see right through and see all the bullshit. Okay? So here, let's talk about this article. You guys can tell me later which video you want to see next. Juan Galt, or you guys want to see the judge, right? If you guys want to see the judge, I got threatened with contempt if I show if I show that judge, or if I publish that recording. I've been threatened with contempt. She's threatening to put me in a cage if I dare share a recording of her. Now, do you think it's for confidentiality? Do you really think it's for confidentiality? I mean, do you seriously think it's for confidentiality? Here, look at this comment. Ironton auditor is the only auditor to fake his own arrest. Let's see. Let's be fair. It was a two-way street, BSBT. When they were pulling their shit, we turned a blind eye while being complacent. I mean, you know, I would have to say there's a lot of truth to that comment right there, John Denicola. Appreciate you being in here. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of truth to that, I think, right? So anyways, people, you want to come on up here and talk about this article? I mean, I did clip the videos specifically so that we could talk about this. If you don't feel like coming up, obviously, more than capable of running this thing solo. There's absolutely no obligation. So anyway, we'll talk about the family attorney after this, because here's what the family attorney says. And is she a lying, grubby snake? Because let's see what she said right here. This Lori Zahodnik, that's her phone number, by the way. That's her phone number. If you wanted to give that grubby snake of an attorney phone call, that's her phone number right there. Because she starts out with a lie. I have made reasonable and diligent attempts to contact counsel requesting concurrence in the relief sought with this motion on Joshua Lanto. Is that true, Lori Zahodnik? Is that true? Because guess what? While we were waiting on that Zoom phone call, because that family court, all they were concerned with was whether or not I was recording them. That's all they wanted to know is this being recorded? They spent so much time figuring out if there was a recording going that they spent the whole morning where all I had time to do while we sat there on that Zoom call was sit there and play your bullshit for you. You heard your own bullshit, Lori Zahodnik. And what do I mean by your own bullshit? Let me show you this right here. This is what I mean. Because you know, Lori Zahodnik, is that statement true? You know, Lori Zahodnik, that statement is not true. And you want to know how I know it's not true? Because I played you the phone call that I made trying to get in contact with you, that you ignored the phone call. You ignored me, right? Here, this is the phone call. I was playing you the phone call on the Zoom call, so you had to hear it.
My name is Joshua Lanto, and my phone number is... My name is Joshua Lanto, and my phone number is 248-632.
Yeah, so that's you, Lori Zahodnik, having to listen to me on that Zoom call, and I'm playing the messages that I left for you that you never returned, okay? So, you want to explain that one, Lori Zahodnik, that you're not a money-grubbing little fucking bitch of a cunt? You want to explain that? Go for it. I know better. Well, let's move on. Let's just talk about police and the problems they're having with staffing. Let's talk about that. If I can get to it. Lots can happen on a live broadcast. Okay, so here we go. Saw this headline. Figured it was well worth talking about, because I had seen that video on the Press Harder channel. And then the article starts out by Sheriff's Department struggling to stay fully staffed. Huntington, West Virginia. The need for more workers is being felt in just about every profession, and in West Virginia, many sheriffs, and they're struggling to stay fully staffed. In Boone County, Sheriff Chad Barker said a deputy recently resigned, adding a second vacancy to their department. The article continues. He said they're struggling to bring people in. Huge shocker, right? It's not only the problem we face here locally, but it's a problem statewide and nationwide. Seems like there's a lot of police officers confirming this information. Barker said they have 16 positions, but after filling other positions like bailiffs, school resource officers, and more, they have only 9 deputies to roam the county. 9 deputies for an entire county. He said when you can't fill 2 positions because of competition. Oh, we got a guest. We have a guest. Let's add people to the stream. Yeah. Well, wouldn't you know? I stumbled
usually
across
don't go
this
on
article.
panels.
I usually don't go on panels.
No.
You know, I'm guessing when you saw the title of this video, you probably had a clue of what was. It probably didn't take much to figure out where we were going with this, did it?
Where we were going.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, if we could take a moment of silence, to mourn the end of freedom.
yes, let's take a moment of silence.
Yeah. Okay, that was fine.
There we go.
That was a moment.
I'll bring this article back up. Oh, let me see. That's not where we left off. We left off here where it said. Well, let's go back to this second paragraph here of this screenshot. It's not the only problem we face here locally, but it's a problem statewide and nationwide. That sentiment seems to be carried throughout other videos that I've seen and throughout the country. So that leads me to believe that statement is correct and accurate.
Yeah, but as long as they still have enough officers to do harassment and collection, then they have too many.
Oh, well, and wouldn't you know it, I was told today that there's a warrant for my arrest because I, am getting a little sick of playing the little jurisdiction game up in Clarkston. Wouldn't you know it, it's like, if you're struggling to hire new officers, maybe you should consider that, you might want to focus on crime instead of generating revenue for the state, because that's all that case is. That's pretty much 100% what that case is about.
Yeah, if there's enough officers where a judge can sit behind a desk and be like, that man questioned my authority, bring him to me.
Right.
I don't care how far you have to go to get him. Bring him to me.
I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And then you can even point to her hypocrisy where she admits that I shouldn't even be there in the first place on record. But then she'll, force the issue and sign a little piece of paper and tell her dogs to sick me.
Yeah. Bring him to me.
Bring him to me now. I have to have that wanted fugitive. He's on the run.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pete's. Well, this article continues. I'll just continue reading where I left off. Barker said they have 16 positions, but after filling other positions like bailiffs, school resource officers, and more, they have only 9 deputies to roam the county. He said when you can't fill...
The key word in there, though, is roam. In West Virginia, that's exactly what they be doing and shit, man. West Virginia cops are out of control. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen how out of control they are in West Virginia, but I can only imagine. Have you?
They absolutely are. Oh, yeah.
Well, and then I'll continue reading here. He said when you can't fill 2 positions because of competition and static pay, it becomes much harder for them to do their job. I would say just in that one paragraph right there, is it really about the pay? Because I have to believe that the lack of respect and, the pushback that they're receiving, that's obvious at this point. I have to believe that has a lot to do with it.
Well, in West Virginia, they like the tyranny.
They like the tyranny in West Virginia?
Yeah, they do. I'm serious. The citizenry, they don't talk back to law enforcement at all. They like it.
Well, then I guess they get what they deserve then, you know?
Yeah, in one sense, you know. I mean, it's the same all the way around. I mean, they like the unsafe coal mines. They like the tyrannical law enforcement. They always vote for more of it.
Well, that's a recruitment ad for West Virginia if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, there's something in the water there, man.
There's something in the water. Or maybe the canaries are coming out of the coal mine a little messed up.
Yeah, for sure. And I love West Virginia, the wild and wonderful state. It's probably my favorite state in the whole union, you know. But
oh, it's definitely a beautiful state. I've actually visited West Virginia. It's actually a really beautiful state.
Yeah, for sure, wild and wonderful. But they do like the tyranny there. They don't resist it at all. I mean, it's hard to resist too. I mean, they've got it on lockdown. You know, the government. Oh yeah, they don't mess around. I mean, in pretty much every city there, the government is comprised of like brothers, sisters, husbands, and wives. It's all a family business.
Yeah, it's all a family business.
Yeah.
Well, this article continues on. Our guys haven't had a raise in a long time, so we're kind of stagnant, Barker said. I think it's starting to show as far as being able to get qualified applicants and to get people to test. And what I would say is maybe it is a combination of a lot of factors. I don't think you can simplify it to just the pay, you know, especially when you see more and more cops getting thrown under the bus when the public and the political pressure gets dialed up when a crime is actually caught on camera. And then if you're a cop, you have to understand, like, man, as soon as that public and political pressure starts getting dialed up, man, they have no problem throwing you under the bus. And then you're in jail for the rest of your life. Now, does that happen very often? I don't know, but it should happen more often, and it looks like it's probably going to continue happening more often. So if you're a cop and you're putting that uniform on, you know, do you really want a bad decision on your part? Where normally you just get away scot-free and the police unions would back you no matter what you did. Do you really want to take that risk of being thrown under the bus like that? Because that judge and that prosecutor don't give two shits about you. If they got to save their skin, they're throwing your ass under the bus right away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're worried about getting thrown under the bus because although while that might get a lot of news attention when a police officer gets convicted, it's still very rare. In West Virginia, it's really hard to convict a cop. I mean, it's really hard. Like, juries will not convict. Right?
In West Virginia?
No. In West Virginia, that's not the only state. Like, you know, but in West Virginia, no, they will not convict. And they will not award settlements to...
Yeah, I have to imagine Kentucky would probably be right alongside with them.
I don't know about Kentucky.
I heard they're pretty, anti-throwing the cops under the bus. But I'll continue reading the article. It says, we reached out to 11 additional West Virginia sheriff's offices to find out if they're facing similar challenges. Mingo County Sheriff Joe Smith, I think every law enforcement agency around us is understaffed. We're currently fully staffed with 17 certified deputies, but we have several city agencies in the county that are understaffed. This creates a problem because that leaves us to take additional 911 calls in city limits. Logan County Sheriff PD Clements told us over the phone, we are down 4 deputies, but are in the process of hiring 2 new ones. Well, they're down 4, but they're gaining 2. So looks like they're still -2. The article goes on to say Mason County Sheriff Corey Miller, we've struggled to get applicants. I've given 3 civil service exams in the first 18 months. I've been in office and had a total of around 12 people take it with a minimum pass rate for it and the PT combined. very difficult to find young men and women to want to do the job.
Right. Well,
I mean,
it's
that-
more respectable to just join the cartel instead. I mean, it's the same qualifications.
Right. And did you like how I stopped in that video? I stopped on the part where that high ranking guy, I don't know if he was a chief or a captain, I don't remember, but he was the captain. Okay, yeah. And the captain, you're like, yeah, the killers and rapists still want to be police. He's like, oh yeah.
Of course. Yeah. That guy was such a sociopath, man.
It was just too funny. It's like you could tell. Yeah, it didn't really process right away, and he just agreed right away. But it was kind of, I don't know if it was
I don't
like,
know.
you know,
At the time, I thought it didn't process, but when I saw the video again, he was like that the whole time. He answered honestly in all of his answers. Were true.
yeah.
It's just like he was just very honest and he didn't care. Like he had no conscience. Like,
Yeah,
that's why I say he was a
exactly.
sociopath.
So, yeah, and I thought the same exact thing too. When I watched it the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, he just answered too quick." But then you're right, like the honesty, the brutal honesty he gave with a lot of those answers. I kind of had the same thought as well. I'll go on to read the article here. Let's see where I left off. It's very difficult to find young men and women who want to do the job. Public scrutiny and constant negative media coverage are part of the problem. Well, I would say, it's not so much mainstream media. I would say it's, more independent media than anything. But,
to label that as the problem and not the solution to the problem that already existed is why they're in the mess that they're in, because they fail to see what they've done, right? They're not taking accountability for their actions, right? And, to blame the media, nobody would be paying any attention to them if they weren't fucking up every chance they get.
Yeah, and you said that in that video, and it was just so true, and it was just so hard hitting that it was like brutal honesty, slapping everybody in the face. At least that's the way I took that video.
Right. The people, the media, everyone, they want to be able to trust in law enforcement. I mean, that's everybody's dream, right? Like, we want good guys, right? It hurts our heart to see what they're really like.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think it's kind of culture shock when, now that the cameras are here. So, I kind of had this thought too, and I'm curious to know your input, or maybe we can save this for another discussion because it'd probably take too much time to delve into it here. It'd probably take us too far off track. But, if the live streaming cameras were around or the technology was around back in pre-Nazi Germany, do you think there would be a possibility to have prevented Nazi Germany?
No, because the rest of the world doesn't care. It's back to blue until it happens to you. It's just like in Russia right now. Peeps are being drug off and sent to the gulag in Siberia for saying no to war. Sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison. And nobody in the rest of the world gives two fucks, right? Hold on, Walt. I don't give a fuck, right? They care about gas prices, the economy, that's number one, right? Abortion is like number 4. But at the bottom of the list is 10 to 15 years for Russian citizens for saying no to war. And that's a common thing going on. And they actually know how to protest there. I mean, they make the government carry them away.
Yeah. I guess what I was trying to say is, I understand like other parts of the world might not care, but could it serve as an internal mechanism? Because it appears like, by this article and by the comments from that captain from your video, it kind of seems like it's having an effect here. So, but like I said, I don't want to get too far off this article, but I did have that thought, and I just want to know if it was interesting or maybe worth exploring later. But back to the article, it says these young folks can go out and get good paying jobs, making more money with much less stress and responsibility. I mean, I don't know if I would agree with that, but we can continue on. We are a smaller department right now. We are at 10 road deputies, 3 pro officers, and a dare officer. We are currently down 2 positions. We are lucky to have some good troopers in the county, but they are facing the same staffing issues our department are. And then it stops right there. And here's the last part of the article right here. We currently have 4 vacancies for deputy. Over the next 3 years, that number could rise to 20 due to retirement and or other unforeseen reasons. The KCSO is very fortunate because we have the support of the Kanawha, I don't know if I said that correctly, Kanawha County Commission. KCSO deputies were given a 14% pay increase this year thanks to the commission. One reason for the raise was the commissioner's recognition that policing has become a struggling profession. Struggling profession. I mean, that's an interesting choice of words to describe the profession. And looks like Peeps is ordering some coffee, so I'll continue reading. And then maybe we'll come back to the struggling profession portion of this article. They recognize the hard work of our current deputies, but also our need to hire more deputies. One way to make KCSO more appealing to potential new candidates was to increase the salary and offer a $15,000 sign-on bonus. So there's more bribe money involved. That's $15,000 in instant bribe money to get you to come be a killer and a rapist, right? Our applicant pool has significantly declined over the years. Almost 20 years ago, we would have 500 applications turned in for the position of deputy. This year, we had 16 applications turned in. Only 11 applicants showed up for the test, physical agility. Once the tests and background investigations were completed, we have about 4 potential candidates left. If the recent pay increase doesn't make KCSO more appealing to new applicants, we will have to reevaluate and look at other areas to improve upon. So the 2 areas of this article that stood out, or this screenshot that's on the screen right now that stuck out to me was policing has become a struggling profession. And you have to ask yourself a lot of questions with that one sentence or the end of that sentence alone. Policing has become a struggling profession. Well, why? Why? I think the clues are already there. It's like, exactly what the video we saw on the Press Harder channel, exactly what it said in there, right? The fact is, the population just can't trust you anymore, and that's why you're being recorded. So that should be a clue that you can't be trusted. Okay, so I don't think it's just a monetary thing. I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's far deeper than that. I think there's much more to it than that. But then also, I think, the last part of this article, or the last part of this screenshot right here, is very telling as well. Which is, we will have to reevaluate and look at other areas to improve upon. So it's almost like, how are you going to find new cops when, you're drug testing, when you're doing these extensive background checks? And nowadays, it's very difficult to make it to 21 without an MIP on your record, or it's very difficult to make it through to be in a position as an adult to fill out an application. Like, who's going to be able to do the job? Like, are you kidding me? You got to pass like a background check where you pretty much have to be so squeaky clean that you make it almost impossible. The standards have become almost impossible, and it's almost a self-inflicted wound. It's almost a self-inflicted problem. And we'll wait for people to come back because I really want to get the input on that. I'm going to put this banner up here for just a second so you guys can see. Pretty soon, I'm going to ask you guys which video you want to see next. I got a video of Juan Galt, a family judge. And this family judge, I was told if I publish a recording of her, I would be subject to contempt for publishing a recording of her. Now, I kind of you know, I kind of feel like calling her bluff in the first place because I did email her chambers and I said, well, you know, I do have a recording where you said the same thing last time and I published it and you didn't find me in contempt. So if I publish that one again, are you going to hold me in contempt? Or if I publish the new recording, are you going to hold me in contempt for that one? Which let me know what the rules are. And of course, they didn't really like that email too much because, you know, I know they're just fucking bluffing anyways. I don't think they really want to throw somebody in jail for that, but I wouldn't put it past them. I think they would like to throw me in jail for any reason. And that might be the perfect reason they could use. So I might be risking a contempt charge. Appreciate that, Real Jingy. Appreciate that. Thumbs up the stream. One question, I'm not trying to be rude, but why is this guy always outside? Because outside is the place to be, is what I would guess. But Don, if you
I'm
want
not
to ask
outside. I'm inside. See?
right? You be chilling in the house. Appreciate you coming in. You be chilling if you're still in here. And then this is what John DeNicola said: when police officers themselves are saying they don't want their kids to follow in their footsteps, they have a problem. Well, and again, I think it comes back to this: a struggling profession. I mean, back in the 90s, they used to get away with everything. You heard it from that captain. They used to get away with everything back in the 90s. But then again, back in the 90s, you didn't have technology. You didn't have live streaming cameras in your hand. You didn't have ordinary, everyday folks feeling the need to pick up a camera and point it at abuse. So, I mean, I think there's a lot that goes into why it's a struggling profession. I would agree that policing has become a struggling profession. And I would also make the argument that it's for self-inflicted wounds. And we'll wait for people to come back. Archangel of Truth, thanks for coming in
got a
here.
question? Sorry, I'm waiting for my refill.
Gotcha. Yeah, Don was just asking why you're
Yeah.
outside,
Inquiring minds want to know.
right? And
Because
I mean,
it's a beautiful night. I mean, come on.
right?
Yeah. Thank you, Desiree. Yeah. Because there's no smoking inside. And because the music's playing.
Right. And then let's pull this up, because this may be why it's a struggling profession as well. Because basically you've become fodder for the public. You've become the laughing stock of the population. That's what you've become. You've turned what used to be no questions asked, like kiss your ass profession into the laughing stock that it's become today. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, people are tired of crime, right? Despite the crime statistics that seem to be going up, they're actually going down because crime committed by police has never been counted. Right?
You broke up a little bit right there. You said what?
The crimes that the police are committing, they've never been counted as crimes. Right? So the less police you have, the less crime that they're committing.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not counted.
Right. Well, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, it was crimes that were unaccounted for.
Just crimes against humanity. I mean, they're crimes whether they're listed as crimes on the book. When the government makes carve-outs to say that everything they do is not a crime, it's okay if they do it. It's still a crime.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a crime. I mean, just because Russia makes laws that say that you can't publish, the name of a dead soldier, doesn't make it a crime. It's not a crime. It never was a crime. It never will be a crime.
It never was a crime, and it never will be a crime.
No, that's not a crime. right?
Well,
But
and just so you're aware, you know, it may be a crime if Dawn is in here. Dawn is my baby mama.
yeah,
This is Dawn right here.
yeah, yeah, we know who she is.
Okay. She was a low down, disgusting, dirty piggy in that picture right there, Dawn. So,
Whoa, calm
in that
down.
picture, that's the I was trying to be
Yeah,
somewhat nice.
yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. Kgal, he made it one comment and then he got blocked again.
Was he in here?
Yeah, you unblocked
What?
him. You unblocked him.
Apparently he got unblocked. Maybe it was in the mass purge, or maybe it was in the mass reawakening that I did of
Oh
the
yeah.
trolls.
Oh yeah.
Dragonet
Oh,
Transparency, thank you for coming in.
oh yeah, yeah. Dragonet, how are you tonight?
Hell yeah, Dragonet, appreciate you being in here. Hey BSBT, hey Dragonet Transparency.
Yeah, that's a good article that you found today, though, BSBT. I mean, that's a common thing. Police departments have been complaining about recruitment for a long time, and most departments are down officers. They, despite what the government keeps saying, they keep ordering them to hire more, and they can't do it.
Well, and you know, the last part of that article was dealing with recruitment standards, and it's like, you know, you're trying to find drug-free cops. Good luck with that. You're trying to find new cops that have squeaky clean records. Good luck with that. You know, we live in a society nowadays where everything is being documented. Every little, like, you steal a candy bar from a store at 12 years old, somebody somewhere knows about it and they're trying to, put it on a record that you have. Good luck trying to find the perfect people to be these cops.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that it's a very rare personality that can do that, right? It can never be done on a massive scale like what the government is attempting to do right now. It can't be done, and it never will be done.
Well, yeah, I mean, you end up collapsing under the weight of your own oppression.
Right. I mean, even when you find one of those personality types, they get corrupted by the power, right? But when there's not that many of them, then the people can rise above.
Well, yeah, and Archangel of Truth, that's the topic that we were talking about tonight, is the sheriff department struggling to stay fully staffed. And then, if I can, let me just play this last clip of your video real quick, because I think this is very telling. I'm going to play this for the new folks coming in, just so they can see kind of where we were going with this, and then we'll come back to the discussion.
Well, the rapists and killers still want to be police.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Is it self-inflicted from the department, though?
Not really, no.
Because
It's nationwide.
Wait, you don't think so? That
the university department,
years and years,
thing, or is it
decades and decades of bullying and intimidating and lying to the public has built up, and now when peeps are stopping and filming, that's called a clue, right? That the people have lost trust, because if they trusted you, they wouldn't be filming. We would have just kept on our way. There's no way we would have stopped and been like, oh yeah, those police officers over there, man, we need to go watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys were great, but I didn't think you were going to be. Right? Because, I've completely lost trust, right?
You probably hadn't seen
But you
that
guys
experience.
surprised me, and we're
appreciate it.
actually solving a crime with a human victim, right? Which, doesn't happen very often.
So that's kind of the topic for right now. And that clip, I know sometimes you can't hear the audio, but that was the portion of your video where, it's just all those years of bullying and intimidating the public. Now folks can't trust you.
Yeah, folks can't trust you, and the ones that actually want to be police are scared of getting caught for committing the crimes that they thought they were going to get away with by being police. You know, like
You know,
he
and that,
said in a different clip, he said they can't get away with the same things that they used to get away with anymore,
yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah. And
basically
that,
the rape, murders, robbery, extortion.
right. That was very telling because, you know, and this kind of ties back into the Mr. Carroll thing, you know, in the statement that he made is like he's constantly in the comment section and he takes a lot of issue with me labeling a lot of what you know, the generating revenue for the state, and I call it legalized extortion. And he takes such an issue with that. And it's like, you know, we're living in the day and age where, you know, you can't use these fancy words to try to spin it and try to put it back on something that it's not. It's like it's becoming glaringly obvious to people that it's become legalized extortion. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, if you make a jar in your house, you know, and every time you curse, you throw in a nickel, right? Then that's not extortion. You're doing it voluntarily,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, and despite what the government thinks, like, oh, if you you know, don't persecute people that don't consent to the laws, that nobody will. That's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, um, peeps will pay taxes, right? Because they want these government services. They want these things. They will still do what they do, right? It's not going to change. You don't have to throw somebody in jail because they won't get a license. You don't
Yeah,
have to
you don't
do
have.
it. It's just not
Yeah,
necessary.
right. And I could even make an argument that if you use that excessive type punishment, all it does is fuel that individual to rebel even more. Because you've kind of
Yeah,
just
and
made
well,
the.
what it does is it diverts the argument, right? It's like, okay, let's use drunk driving, or actually let's use speeding, right? So enough peeps were pissed off about speeders that they lobbied their government representatives and got a law passed against speeding, right? Uh, but what they didn't do was convince the population that it's bad, right? And so pretty much everybody will speed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and I also had this thought. Speaking of speeding, right? I did Uber driving for a short time, not too long ago. Well, obviously not too long ago because Uber hasn't been around that long. But I did Uber, and then I was thinking, you know, what would happen if, like, because they use GPS technology to track your speed, track everything about you. Like the GPS is so sensitive on that they can tell whether you're using a cradle for your phone or not. So the GPS is very, very sensitive. Now, what if Uber announced to all their drivers in the past that they're using that GPS tracking data, and every time you were 1 mile over the speed limit, you were going to get a ticket in the mail from that jurisdiction?
I mean, what if? What's your
Well,
point? Of course
well,
they
my
could do
point,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, my point to all this is, you know, for the folks on like pro police side, or we have to have these laws in place. Um, what I'd like to say is like, if you really feel that way, wouldn't you tell on yourself for going 1 mile over? And then to the contrary point is, you know, what about all the people that, you know, like you said, you know, people speed. Almost everybody does speed. It's like, what I would think would happen is if you have a crackdown like that and Uber were to send out something like, hey, every time you're 1 mile over, you're going to have a speeding infraction to pay, you would lose every Uber driver that you ever had working for you.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make is that if speeding is bad, then convince the population of it. Obviously,
Well,
the
right.
population is not convinced. In fact, I've never met a single soul that thinks that speeding is wrong, or that the government knows what the safe speed is. Right? Everybody knows that you can safely go over the speed limit and be safe. Everybody knows this,
Yeah. It's basically
right?
just a
I mean,
suggestion.
yeah. Now, sometimes, you're driving on a mountain road, right? And you're used to it, and you're like, oh, that speed limit sign, that's for reals, right? When it says 15, it means it around that corner, right? They're not kidding,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And everybody knows it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're
Yeah.
used
Yeah.
to it, right?
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
don't go over 15 around that turn, right? But peeps can figure out what's safe and what isn't. They don't need the government to do it. And if you have all these rules that nobody would actually respect if there weren't armed Gestapos uh, enforcing them, then they're meaningless, right? Convince the people that drunk driving is bad, right? Because they're obviously not convinced.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, you would probably see a lot less DUIs.
Yeah, and I mean the fact is that only like 1% of drunk drivers get caught. That means 99% of them are making it home.
Right.
Without incident.
And yeah. Archangel of Truth giving a thumbs up in here to Real Jingy. But yeah, so going back to that article though, the recruitment standards and everything. That's what I was trying to use that Uber example for with too. Is like if Uber mailed out like, oh, all of a sudden, you're getting a traffic infraction for every time our GPS sensed that you were 1 mile over the speed limit. Every single Uber driver would be like, fuck this, I'm not doing it anymore. And that's kind of what I think. Well, that's kind of what I think is happening to the police. It's like, you're basically making the standards so high that nobody can meet those standards.
Well, if you're suggesting lowering the standards, I mean, that's not good either. In fact, you get rid of these bullshit laws.
Well, yeah. And getting rid of the bullshit laws would probably go a long way. And perhaps maybe teaching the cops about the law instead of just how to shoot their gun on the gun range.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they're taught a lot more they are taught about law. They're taught how to articulate themselves to avoid getting in trouble. Right? If there's a Supreme Court case that says you can't do this, then they teach you how to articulate it to make it seem like you didn't do that. You did something else. It's
right,
okay.
Exactly. Like, hey, we got to do this inventory search on the vehicle because we're towing it. So we have to. Yeah. So there's no Fourth Amendment here because our policy on doing an inventory search, we have to make sure nothing comes up missing in your car.
Right. We're not saying you can't carry guns. We're just saying you can't carry guns in town.
Right, exactly. And then I thought of one other example too, but I can't remember what it was. But
law don't go around here, law dog.
Law don't go around here, law dog. Oh, hold on. Well, see, you had to bring that up. So let's just go ahead and play it. Let's just go ahead and play it for the crowd.
Wide Earp, huh? Heard of you.
Listen now, Mr. Kansas law dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy?
I'm retired.
Good. That's real good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real good, law dog, because law just don't go around here.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. Winner to the king, $500.
Yeah. So that was back, in those days, Wyatt Earp, he was the marshal. And he could just hand his badge over to Doc Holliday, and now Doc Holliday was the marshal.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, well, I don't really know, what to speak about that, but it's just like, you flip the badge over to somebody else. Now all of a sudden they're the marshal.
That's how it was.
Yeah. Like
Whoever
you're
had
in
the
charge
badge
now.
was, yeah, whoever had the badge. See, it's respect the badge, not the person.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and the marshals or the sheriff, they would just deputize peeps as needed, right, to perform a particular task. But if they couldn't get anybody that cared, then it didn't matter, right? If they needed to go after a murderer or a bank robber, a train robber, then they would get a posse together and deputize them.
Well, yeah, just not the posse comitatus, because then Juan Galt would have led the charge.
Yeah, Juan Galt. He invented the sovereign citizen movement in the 70s, the 1870s.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have a video of Juan Galt. Would you like to see the video I have queued up of Juan Galt?
Sure. Do it to
Okay.
it.
This is the video of Juan Galt back in the day, when he was the leader of the posse comitatus. So here's Juan Galt. Ready?
I don't have to ask him when he's going to be ready. He's going to let me know by shooting out here in my face. Aren't you? Are you ready? You are? No, not in my face, not on the camera. Oh, you wacky thing, you. Stop. This is very disturbing when you're kneeling down like this.
Okay, so, I don't have confirmation that was actually Juan Galt, but it bears a striking resemblance to Juan Galt.
Yeah, The Onion reported that was Juan Galt.
The Onion reported that was Juan Galt. So, and I have more. Yeah, I have more videos. I have the grubby attorney and my brother-in-law. I have videos of them. I have videos of the judge. Here, we'll take a look at the judge real quick.
Leave the shoe alone. You don't like those shoes, do you? No. Look, I'm not playing games with you. No biting. No biting. There you go. Go on. It's like a hose reel working.
So that's actual video of the judge. These slimy snakes.
Yeah. So you do actually have a warrant? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I've been told. I haven't even bothered to check in on it, to be honest.
Oh. Well, I don't know why you showed up to your court appearances, right? Or no?
The last one I just didn't go to.
Oh, you didn't go?
No.
Oh, you just didn't go to it. I like how you said that. The last one I just didn't go to.
Yeah, I just didn't. You know what? I'm done recognizing their jurisdiction. I'm just done. If they're gonna prove their jurisdiction to me, then they got to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, with guns. I mean, obviously you became a terrorist at that moment.
Oh, well, of course. You know what I mean? Like, how dare I be a peaceful person that just wants to be left alone?
Right. That's not okay anymore. That's not okay.
Well, that is considered nowadays the crime of the century.
Right, but the fact that there's just like not officers that are like, fuck this. This judge is the opera fucking rocker and shit. There's no way I'm gonna go enforce that. I mean, there are officers like that don't waste their time with bullshit, but there's always that one who will hunt you down.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I found the one on a cop watch the one day because he thought he just wanted to retaliate against me, and then pull me over, when I was quote unquote driving, without my little piece of plastic, and I shouldn't be driving, which I know how you feel on that. But nonetheless, is like, so I fire up the recording and I point the recording at him, and I'm trying to be like, dude, this was just retaliation for me recording you. That's all this was. And then he's trying to sit there and lie on the camera and say that it wasn't. But then every statement that he made basically leads you to understand that, no, it was just 100% retaliation. That's all it was.
Right. Well,
like, that guy could give two shits about what I was actually doing. But he had to make it he had to sell that was the reason.
Right. I feel like I need to clarify my stance on that, because it's so hard to articulate it properly how I really feel, right? And I'll start off by saying that I absolutely love anybody that makes that argument against for the right to drive or the right to travel, right? I do feel like they're using the wrong words. I do feel like it's a privilege, but at the same time, I love questioning the government, right? And
right.
And I do feel like the government has gone too far with it, right? I have a lot of respect for somebody that will make that argument in the face of the violence that is going to ensue, where they will break out your window and drag you from the car, tase you, and throw you in a concrete cell, handcuffed behind your back, incommunicado from the world for daring to do it, right? And they still do it, right? I don't think it's an appropriate use of force. What they do, right? They have no shame. It is a privilege, but to have superhuman strength, of course, or superhuman abilities, it's not a natural born right. You're not born with four wheels and an engine.
Right.
Nobody ever was born with four wheels and an engine, and fuel injection and shit, and windshield wipers, headlights, right?
Well, and life is generally a little easier if you're going to go into your person and try to make a living when you do have that license.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that they should just let you go, and if they want to impose penalties, they can. I mean, they still have a lot of power. They don't have to drag you from the car and tase you and arrest you and shit. It's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, they can do all kinds of things. Like, they can take your license. They can stop you from getting tax returns. They can stop you from getting government assistance. They can cause all kinds of problems. They don't need to, and they just don't need to use the physical violence for something as minuscule as not getting a license.
Well, and that's where I take issue. Is like, for me, it just comes down to the whole, how bad, like, what aren't, these folks willing to do for their master, like,
right.
I'm convinced that out there's a good portion of our population that would be the Milgram experiment. They would put you to death simply for challenging the rules that are the way they're written right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They just cannot handle it at all. I mean, anybody questioning their power, and that's not a crime, but yet it is a crime in all actuality, right? It comes with the heaviest of punishments if you don't admit their jurisdiction.
Well, yeah, because they can strip your freedom away, and that's like the most precious thing that, that's the most precious thing in the world.
Well, they won't move forward with the case, you're stuck in this endless cycle until you consent to their jurisdiction.
Well, yeah,
So,
exactly. Consenting to the jurisdiction, that's pretty much what it's all about. It's pretty much a religion, It's like, hey, you either bow down to the church of our jurisdiction, or we're going to show you.
Yeah, whether like the judge issues a contempt charge, that's a whole new charge. It's still not like anything to do with the original charge. And I mean, the idea of contempt is just, you can't be in contempt. You can't have contempt for the court. Like, I don't understand that.
Well, and that's something that I thought a lot about too, is contempt of court charge is the only one where the judge gets to be the legislature, the executive branch, and the judiciary. It's the only charge. It's the only thing where the judge is just this all-powerful being.
Yeah.
And that's
they decides what's contempt, what the punishment is going to be.
Exactly, and that is just way too much power for any one individual to have.
But yet it's written into the Constitution.
Well, and that's I definitely take issue with that. I definitely take a huge issue with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, and I got one more video lined up, and this is the video of this grubby attorney real quick. Because this is basically what these attorneys are in my eyes. This is what the attorneys are. This is me peeping in on this attorney. So I don't know if I'll get a contempt charge for showing this, because I don't know if they threaten me with contempt for this, but I'll show this.
My name is Joshua Lanto, and my phone number is... My name is...
Simply for having this recording, I've been told I could be subject for contempt, or subject to contempt for simply having this recording. But this is a more accurate video of what you're looking at right there. That's a grubby attorney, but this is a more accurate version. This is a more accurate video of that same attorney right here.
All right, she just slammed the window because, hey, I've got two snakes sneaking up on me. Get away from me. Here, take that and go away. Stop it. I've got a pissy gaboon. Hey, stop. Come on. Here. I got a pissy gaboon to my back. I've got a rambunctious king at my feet. Hey. You are a toad today. Come on. Yes, that's my knee. It's on the ground. Are you going to eat, or are you going to go back in your cage? Huh? Are you going to eat, or are you going to go back in your cage? Come on. No, I don't want you nibbling my ankles. We're not engaged. We're not in that kind of a relationship.
So anyways, when I see that video accurately reflects exactly what I see in this video.
I see the similarities.
I see the similarities as well. So
yeah,
that's where I wanted to end the show tonight. I mean, I appreciate you joining me. Is there anything that you wanted to say that we didn't cover on the article that we shared?
Well, if we're just going to end the show, then fuck the trolls in the butt.
All right, let's fuck some trolls in the butt. That being said, let's go ahead and fuck some trolls in the butt, and we'll get on out of here, guys. Julia, thank you for coming in. Nope. Julia, hopefully you stuck it out through that. If you got a phobia of snakes, then I apologize to the folks that are in here that have a phobia of the snakes. But that was people on panel. From the Press Harder channel. Those were the videos that we played on the cold open. And appreciate you coming up on panel as always. So We'll get out of here. We'll give you guys a couple more minutes to say your goodbyes in chat or say your final piece, and we'll play some videos to get on out of here. So in this channel, if you're going to be a troll, this is what happens. We fuck trolls in the butt.
Oh my God. Well, you know, we've hit it. We've finally got there. It took us 17 minutes, but we got there. We've reached the peak. I think just take him in. Asshole.
There might be dildos in there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is there anything you want to tell us, Josh? Is there anything? Oh my God. Well, you know, we've hit it. I think just take him in. Asshole. It hurts. Oh my God. Well, you know, we've hit it. We've finally got there. It took us 17 minutes, but we got there.
Yeah, I don't want to be the star of this show. I'm here for I'm here for Broken.
So that's how we fuck a troll in the butt. And then we'll play this last video and get on out of here for the night. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting this channel. And we'll leave you with the outro. This is about 2 minutes, and then we're getting out of here, guys.
Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed.
Oh, he fucked him up, dude. He showed right up and filmed his ass in front of his house.
That's funny.
Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed. Victory is all you need, so cultivate and plant the seed.
Are trying to cause a rise or get attention.
So cultivate and plant the seed.
There you go. If you didn't notice, you can also come see us on TikTok. That's basically the Cliff Notes version of the Cop Watches and just the highlights. Frankie MMA is a little late to the party, but go ahead, rewind the stream and watch it from the beginning. Very interesting stream tonight. Again, like to thank the guest people for coming up from the Press Harder channel, and we played a little bit of his content. So go ahead and rewind the stream and watch it from the beginning. That's all for tonight, and with any luck, we'll be able to do this again tomorrow. Fan Day Friday tomorrow. Okay, guys, take care.